Hi everybody, it's Lace here, and today we're going to talk about combat skills. It'll be a multi-part thing, and this is the first part, kind of the beginner, maybe remedial for some. Anyway, we're going to hit K to bring up our skills window, and we're kind of concentrate on the adventuring skills. And you can see they're separated into three groups: combat, magic, and strategy. We're just going to work down this tree here and go over them. When you first started the game, you answered some questions, and that determined which path you were going to go on: courage, truth, love, these kinds of things. When I started, I did, I believe it was courage, and that took me into blades. Now, I played blades for a little while, and you can see I trained some skills up. Basically, training up skills is you start off with your basic, and then once you get 10 in that, you'll find a combat trainer. In most of the NPC towns, they're there. And once I got the 10, then I could train this. Once I got 10 in those, I could train down here. To get to the further levels, and this is true in all the schools, you need to find the advanced combat trainer. They are in different locations for each one. There is a spoiler on the forums where you can find that information to find where they're at, and you would go in and train this one. Once you got it to 10, you'd hit that same advanced trainer and train it again. Now, while I started out in Blades, don't ever feel like you have to stay on one path at any point in the game, because you can click the little green triangle here, and you can change it to red, to unlearning. Now, this is only going to work if you have the skill above 20. This one's at 23. So as I'm fighting and maybe doing pole arms, which is what I did, I can unlearn, and that experience is going to go back into my pool to be reused for the new skills that I'm applying it to. So you don't ever have to feel stuck or locked into something. You can also always, just turn these down to not training or maintaining. Now, if you do it not training, it is going to degrade over time that you're not using those skills. So it's best probably just to either put it back to unlearning or maintaining, depending on if you're wanting to completely forget about the skill or you're not going to come back to it for a long time. Just keep those, decisions in mind about how you can turn them on and off. You're going to want to look at these trees and, drill into each one, see what types of skills are available to you as you train them up and stuff. Also, don't forget to focus on your armor. It's either heavy or light. Light is going to be your leather or cotton, and heavy is going to be obviously, your plate and stuff. Heavy armor wearers do have fizzle chances increases. Like if I look at my armor, I can see, look at that, 28% magic fizzle chance, big red letters there at the bottom. Um, Obviously, that's going to cripple me if I use magic, but there are some other skills down here further that we'll get into that can counteract that. Heavy's also good because you can get into deflection. That's going to, mitigate the damage that you're taking. Then the endurance, that's one way to up your strength. And if I hit C for character and just look at strength, what that gives me, it's your carry capacity, your health, your physical damage. That's where they come in. You can also look at dex. That's going to be your crit, your dodge. And if you look at int, that's going to be your focus, damage, and chance to land a crit with magic. So just remember, you can mouse over these to see information about them. So one thing to note is you have to have heavy armor equipped to, for the skills to be active. So if I were a heavy armor user and I started looking in the light armor tree and I said, oh, this is attack speed, well, I'm going to have some light armor on. That means you could mix and match your sets to get the benefits of both, but you're going to have to, obviously spend more experience in both to train them up. But just keep that in mind, that that is an option as well. Next, let's take a quick peek in the magic tree. You'll see this little icon here. I'm not quite sure what it is. I call it the little Buddha guy. Somebody could correct me later. But if I click this, the numbers around the wheel, do you see the 13, 17? That's your attunement. Clicking on the skill, you'll see it also right there, a little bit larger, easier to read. And if you read what it says, it's going to be your resistance to fire effects and your amount of power that, your damage that you're going to do using fire skills. The more you train fire in the fire school, the more this is going to go up. Additionally, on your armor, you can socket it with gems like diamonds, citrine, and stuff. And each one of those represents one of these schools of magic. Ruby, I believe, is fire. For life, I believe it's diamond. and that'll bump that attunement. Now, the thing to keep in mind about attunement is there's always a counter, and they've laid it out in the wheel. The counter to fire is water, the counter to life is death. So if you're a heavy death magic user and you're PvPing and somebody's a heavy life user, they are going to do more damage to you. The same thing with fire. If you're a heavy fire user, water spells are going to hurt you more. So that's one of the strategies for PvP. I'm not a PvP girl. I'll let somebody else talk about that, but that's some basics of it there. And the little attunement icon. As you're starting out in the world, you're probably going to want to invest a little bit into life. That's going to be your, you've got your basic heal that you'll have, and then you can get stronger. Eventually, you're going to want to be able to res people. That takes a pretty long time to get down that tree. Alternatively, starting out, even if you're not going to be using taming, you can come in here and do your tame creature to 10, do your heal creature to 10. Once you get it to 10, then you get a resurrect creature. That can be used on players besides just your pets and stuff. So it's a little bit faster to get down to that tree and be able to help out your party members and stuff when you're grouping early on in dungeons. Now we're going to do a brief overview in the strategy tree. Tactics, this is also something that, is going to help you out a lot. The first one, healthy, that is, obviously your hit points. That's going to be your red bar up here. Once you get that to 10, then you can start training these other things. I tend to hit strength right away because if I hit C for character and I look at my polearm has a strength bonus of high on it. So strength is good for me and my polearm. Also, once you get that to 10, here's the big important one, heavy lifter. You start out with only like being able to carry 100 pounds. You start throwing on some metal armor there and you can't carry very much. You'll go out, you'll hunt for 7 minutes, and then you have to go drop all your gear off. Go out, hunt for 7 minutes, and drop all your gear off. So I like to bump that up pretty quickly to be able to loot things. Your gatherers are going to want it high. Your hunter, everybody's going to want this kind of high. So just that's where it's at. It's in the tactics tree. The other one with R30, the introduction of armor degradation, armor preservation is going to be pretty important. I don't have it up real high right now, because I'm a crafter and I can kind of make my own, but you're going to want to think about that. The one below that is weapon preservation. Now you're going to have 5 armor pieces and only 1 weapon. I would, probably suggest definitely bumping this one up and this one up a little bit, but maybe not as high, because this one's going to save more pieces than this one. So it's a little bit more bang for your buck. I'm going to jump over here to subterfuge tree. I don't think I have much in it, but as you can see, this is where I can get my dex. Dex is crit. I like to crit. I love seeing those big yellow numbers, and so I've trained that. Then I've also got my weak points. That's more crit chance. Love that. Safe fall. Safe fall's kind of new. You get that. You bump that up by jumping off of things. It's very handy in some of the dungeons where, let's say I've gotten very frustrated because I've fallen off something. I fall down to the ground, and now somebody has to come down there and res me. Or, if I'd trained up my safe fall, then maybe I might not have died and I would just have to fight my way back to everybody. So that's probably one, you won't work on that right away, but just turning it on, and when you're jumping off things, if you're one of these people that love to jump off cliffs and jump out of the balloons and all this, well, this is going to help you train that up and take less damage when you hit the ground and go splat. Looking at the focus tree, focus is just that. That's a base skill, just like your healthy was in the tactics. This is your blue bar, and that's, how many spells, skills, whatever that you can use, because it's not just magic that uses focus, so does every other skill. So you're going to want to train that up, and once you get it high enough, then you can also then train your int. Again, it's a minimum of 10 to move down to the next item. That's how the prerequisites work. And there's also things here like intercom, which is going to reduce your cost of using glyphs, which is your magic and stuff. And follow through, your fizzle chance, that's going to be important probably. And I probably should have trained it since I'm a heavy armor user. But I've not been hunting a whole lot this round of wipes because I've been doing videos. So that was not trained. Next, I just want to talk about these numbers here. You see this 463? That is the amount of experience that is going into pole arms when I'm actively using it, just like if I was using all fire, it'd be 170. Currently in the game right now is we have 5 different tier levels, and the skulls are right at the entrance. There's a little stake, And if it has one skull, it's tier 1, 2 is 2, and etc. Tier 1 currently gives 100 points per kill. Tier 3, 300. Tier 5, 500. So obviously I should be hunting in a tier 5 area. I may not be able to do that, but I should be, because that's where how much it's going to take to actually see these skills move a little bit. Um, as the skill gets higher and higher, it takes more and more experience to do it. So you want to, try to keep up hunting. Going to a lower level area is not, if I go to a tier 1, 100 points, well, obviously if it's 400, I will be there for a million years. So going to a low zone does not give a benefit to you. One other thing to touch on here is Grandmaster. You see the Grandmaster gold there? That's because I have 100 in this skill. It also is reflected on my name plate for groups, where if I mouse over it, I can see my Grandmaster skills, I can see my other party members' Grandmaster skills, and things like that. It is an investment in your time. You don't get any benefit other than bragging rights. Your 80 to 100, of course, would have, bumped it up, as you can see, 58.1 to 58.9 damage. So that's like 8%, 0.8% more damage. So as you level it up, you can go over 100, but it's a lot of XP going into it. What Grandmaster does is when I'm grouped with people, and this applies to crafting as well, when I'm grouped with people and they're using a pole arm, they are using 10% less experience to advance that skill. It's really great in crafting, because we like have crafting parties, and a tailor can help somebody with armor. A tailor would be working, and somebody with armor making can then learn tailoring, or the tailor can then learn the armor making. If I'm in a group and somebody's got Grandmaster and healing, I'm going to want to try to use my healing too, so I can learn a little bit better off of them. So that's how the Grandmastering system, think of it, the mentor trainee system, 10% bonus, and you can see what people are good at. Kind of fun. And that's going to conclude this tutorial. Take care, happy hunting, and be safe.